Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gab-fed show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Join Terry with Tracer Rounds every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern to hear interviews with veteran artists, veteran business owners, and businesses that support veterans. Catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and MB Radio. If you miss a show, you can listen again on Wreaths Across America Radio every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Tune in to see if you are on target. MBR, giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And welcome back to Tracer Rounds Podcast, and welcome to Military Broadcast Radio. And with me tonight, we're hopefully going to have Dave Bray, but we may have had a little misconnection, but we'll see. But in the meantime, I have DJ Clatto with me, and he has been on my program before, and he is on our music side, and he is one of our DJs that spins a lot of music on Twitch and on our app and on mbradio.us. Welcome, DJ Clatto.
Thank you.
Excited to have you. We don't get to talk to the radio side too much, the music side, and so we're super happy to have you here. And I know Dave Bray is one of your favorites to play at the end of your show. And what song of his do you typically play, and why do you play it?
I started with MBR back when it was Military Brotherhood Radio, way back in the early 2000s. Yeah. And at the end of all my shows, I've always played the Spangled Banner. I'm a military veteran myself. I was in the Navy for 15 and a half years. And I just, that Spangled Banner's always hit home. Yeah. And I think it was back in 2012, I heard Madison Rising's version of the Spangled Banner and fell in love with it. And I'm like, that's the music that I'm going to end my show with from now on, with the exception of pretty much the month of November. Yeah. November is my dedication to the Vietnam veterans. The Vietnam War started November 1st, 1955, and officially ended April 30th, 1975, I think it was. So for the month of April, with the April. Not used to talking. But with the month of November, with the exception of Veterans Day, is dedicated for Vietnam veterans. Veterans Day, it's music from all of our wars. From the American Revolutionary War, I've played some fife and drum music, all the way up to modern day stuff, because the War on Terror is not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah, you're right. So, what does music mean to you? Why do you find that that's your outlet? That that's the where you want to put your focus?
Well, to me, music is more than just music. It's some people say love is the universal language. To me, music is the universal language because I've been overseas. I've heard radio stations in countries that very, very few English words were spoken.
Yeah.
But the music, even the lyrics, even though you don't know the lyrics, the music just resonates, and some of it just resonates with your soul. So I've always had a love for music, hence the reason I'm here.
I agree with you because I think music will transcend any miscommunication. Like, language, we can mess it up and really misconvey what we're trying to say. But just music, even if you don't understand the words, if you understand kind of the melody and you kind of understand the thought behind maybe the music, it kind of soothes the what is that? The soothes the soul or soothes, out.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's bad mood. Like music can change somebody's mood just that quick. You hear a song that you remember from, way back in the day, or maybe something new you like, and then you hear that, and all of a sudden your day just changes. Your perspective changes, your mood changes, and maybe even your attitude changes with some music.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, music is, I think it's more universal than relationships and love and all that stuff. I think music is really where it's at, honestly. So what is your favorite music to play? What genre, what era is your favorite?
In all honesty, that's a hard question to answer because if you were to look at my playlist in my music library, I have music all over the place. I mean, I like some old school rap. I like country. I like rock. I like heavy metal. It's just there's some genres that I kind of shy away from. Like I'm not into the death metal and that just the guttural screaming and
Right,
and
screamo.
the new rap. I call it crap because it's nothing like LL Cool J. But like I said, I do on my Saturday shows. I usually pick a theme or something and go along with that. And Sundays has been my country corner, Clatto's country corner for quite a while.
Yeah.
But,
So what's on your current playlist, would you say? Like if you do you have like a YouTube playlist where it has all the songs you typically would like, and then it brings a collection in? What's on your playlist there?
Let's see, what's on my playlist. I've got country. I've got various different country bands. Like my favorite in the country is like the 80s and 90s country. I've got one of my all-time favorite bands is Volbeat. I like to play their songs. Metallica, Pink Floyd, even I don't know. I've got some off-the-wall songs that I play, like "The Lunatics Have Taken Over the Asylum" by Collide. Have you ever heard that song?
I think I have, but I couldn't like give you any lyrics.
The first time I heard it, I'm like, this is my theme song. And it towards the end of the song, it sounds like the music, the singing is like a scratched record. It doesn't sound like it sounds messed up, but the music doesn't skip. So it's like it was intentionally done that way. It was just, I don't know. I liked it.
Look it up just to be sure. I think Dave is going to join us here in just a few minutes, so we'll just keep chatting until he gets on. But I think he is going to join us, so that's great. I'm kind of like you. I like a little bit of everything. I like country. I like rap. I like rock. I like old classics. I like I don't know, just just any kind of music, really. Just I'm not really a snob to anything necessarily. I'll take anything that sounds, has a decent melody, has a decent tune, and you can like grasp a mental picture of what they're talking about. Like just kind of puts an image in your mind, and you're like, "Yep, I like that one." So I'm kind of like you, and my playlist is all over the place too. It's from 70s, 80s. It's from today. It's from the 2000s. It might even be back in the 60s. Like there's so many songs that are so good that it doesn't really matter what era they're from. They're just good music, and it's just interesting to play. And it's kind of interesting too when we have younger people in my office and they've never heard some of these songs, and so I'll play them and they're like, "What is that? I've never heard that." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's not from my era either, but I really like it." So they get exposed to it too. And I love how all the video games are playing older music, and so newer audiences are hearing the older music and thinking it's like a new song, like they just discovered it, but it's like 30 years old. So I think that's pretty interesting. There's like something that's old is new again. Because it's getting in front of a new audience. And I like kind of when they mash up some of the older stuff with some new stuff, like the Supertramp one. Take a look at My Girlfriend, that song that they mashed it up with. I can't think of the name of the artist that mashed it, but I like it when they do some of that too, because then it kind of brings that older flavor in with some of the new stuff to kind of get a new audience looking at who sings that part. And then they're looking up Supertramp. Who's Supertramp? So, yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. And so I think they're really smart to do collaborations like that, even if it's a mashup or if it's a collaboration from, a couple different artists trying to bring a new sound or a new song in. I think those are always good ways to kind of connect people and their genres and kind of get them looking at new and different artists that they've never heard of before. I think that's a way to do it. So what's your Saturday show going to be?
This Saturday, I think I'm going to do twofers. That's two songs by the same artist. The audience picks one song and I pick the second one.
Nice. That's a good way to go. Has anybody ever stumped you with a song?
They've tried.
Yeah.
Like there's one that I had. I was doing a twofers, and Dragon Wolf's one of my mods for my Twitch channel, and he likes to go down rabbit holes. When I get a theme, he takes it and runs with it and gets some really good songs, some that should stay buried and some that, it's just, wow, I don't remember this song, or I haven't heard this song in decades type deal. And he tried stumping me one with the twofers, and he came up with the back. I can't remember what year it came out, but it was when the Bears were going to the Super Bowl, and it was
a long time ago.
When the Bears were singing the Super Bowl shuffle or whatever it was.
Yes, I remember.
He came up with that, and I was like, "Well, crap! The Bears only put out one song, so how am I going to do a twofer for that?" And I ended up finding another football team that did another song. So I kind of tied it in that way as a twofer for the theme and not the artist that did it.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. That was like from the 80s or something, because the Bears haven't gone to the Super Bowl in a long, long time.
Not without buying tickets.
Right. That's true. That's true. That's funny. Yeah, Dragon Wolf, I've been on a couple of your streams, and he really does have some really interesting choices. I'm like, I've never heard of that one. That's news to me when it comes to music. But yeah, I'm with you. Music, just any kind of really unique sound and just unique lyrics, or just the way they play it, because even an artist that takes a traditional song and then makes it their own by adding or adding a little, maybe some instruments, or maybe slowing it down, or maybe speeding it up, they really make it their own. And I think, we have Dave, so we're going to play the interview of the week, and then we're going to bring him up. So hang on just a second.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
And our guest is Dave Bray. We're so happy to have you. We're so excited.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? Everything good?
Loud and clear.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm so sorry if we had the technical difficulties over here. So we're trying to get it figured out, right?
No
In the
worries.
military, we called it a gremlin in the machine.
Yeah.
We have
Murphy's
those
Law,
sometimes.
all that stuff. Good to be on, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your military background?
So sure. It's kind of short and sweet. Started out right out of high school, Dixie Cup Navy. My dad was a enlisted Navy guy. My brother was an enlisted Navy guy. I saw Charlie Sheen and I wanted to be a Navy SEAL as a kid, and I was running around the woods and kind of getting into some trouble. So long story short is it seemed like a pretty good fit for me. I ended up joining the Navy Dixie Cup style, and my first duty station, I was a FMF or corpsman. I was a corpsman, 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines at the end of it. But I started out at Naval Hospital Charleston. I was with the EMS, Emergency Medical Services, and got my hands into what emergency medicine was like, and it was really a really good fit for me. So that sort of transferred me over into the Marine Corps side and being an FMF Devil Doc sort of combat medic, and it was a good fit. So I enjoyed it, man. It was great service. Served with the 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marine Sniper Teams.
Wow. How long did you serve, did you say?
I did 4 right out of high school, so 93 to 98, and went to the 2nd Battalion. Went to the Med for the 22nd MEU, and we were in Monrovia, Liberia for Operation Assured Response.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So DJ Clatto over here, he was in the Navy as well. And I'm an
Yep.
Army reservist. I just retired in December. And I finally got my first retirement paycheck. So excited.
Hey, that's good. Yeah,
Yep.
at least you know the system works. But
It
you know,
does.
a lot of people ask me, they're like, why the music thing after the military? What,
Yeah.
how did it all kind of come together?
Right.
But my music was in the beginning, it wasn't. It was more about just getting out anger and realizing frustration and being a young man, sort of wishing he had done more in service. And so that transferred over into a continuation of service, and that's what my music is today, is a continuation of that service. So that's why there's a lot of themes of, honor, duty, respect, patriotism, faith, and just honor and commitment.
Yeah, I love that. I've been listening
Yep.
to a lot of your different messages and the music. And really, it's DJ Clatto that turned me onto your music because he plays your Star Spangled Banner version after every show or almost every
Love
show.
that.
I'll tell you about that. But it really resonated with me after I heard him talking about it. I was like, I got to look this guy up. He's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that was
Yep.
a project called Madison Rising. That was a band that I was with. We did I did 5 years touring with those guys and really established myself from that project. And that Star Spangled Banner is really an interesting story behind it. I was on a train back and forth to New York City almost 3 times a week. And
wow.
if you listen to the beginning of that song, you'll hear dum ba da ba da bum ba da ba da. That's actually the Amtrak train goes tick 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 tick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so as I'm traveling through, from Harrisburg into Philadelphia up to New York through New Jersey, I'm
Yeah.
seeing, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm seeing the Amish out there, 5 mules and a 10-year-old out there just, spade bitten the fields.
Yep.
And, the kids that were out there hanging laundry and the young girls playing and that kind of thing. And then you get into the ghettos and the coal mining region out there and the steel region and the slate region. And then you get up through New Jersey and Philadelphia and then finally into the big city. It truly is a slice of what America and how America got started. It's all right there. It's almost like the Puritans and the Pilgrims, which are the Amish,
Yep.
all
Right.
the way up to New York City, and as big and as strong as we've gotten over those 250 years.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting story. And I agree with you. I mean, you can, by taking a ride of just, maybe 3 or 4 hours anywhere across the country, you can be in a whole other place and it looks like a whole other country just
Yeah.
because it's not populated, it's dense, or it's wooded, or it's whatever. I mean, there's so much different diversity in our U.S. states
Yep.
that you can just find just about anything there. I think anything you want to find.
From the redwood forest to the the Gulf of America.
Gulf Spring waters.
Right. So DJ Clatto was telling me about how he selected your song to play at the end of his show. Do you want to say how you did that?
Sure. I've been a DJ on military. Well, I started back in the early 2000s. It was military broadcast. Brotherhood radio. And I've always played the Star Spangled Banner at the end of all my shows, because I remember growing up, the end of the TV. And I remember when TV stations shut down and they played the Star Spangled Banner, and then you got the rainbow colors,
Yep.
And I like the Star Spangled Banner. It served in the military. That's our national anthem. So I played that at the end of all of my shows. And then I think it was in 2012, I heard Madison Rising's version, and I was like, I love it. Yep. I'm using this. And since then I've played it.
This changes everything, right? So, a lot of people think that the music to and the melody to our national anthem were written at the same time, but a lot of people don't know this, that Francis Scott Key just wrote a poem.
Yep. He wrote a poem.
The song itself and the melody to that poem was set way, way later. And the song is actually an old drinking song from the English called To Anna Korea with Love. And that's basically the melody is that da 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 that we all know famously, that was put to the words that Francis Scott Key penned on that ship, on the bow of that ship that night. And if you really go through, one of the things I really love to do is talk about, because again, it's sort of glanced over. It's I hate to say it's the orange on the blue moon in a lot of occasions, but it's truly the reason for any occasion, any sporting event, anytime we're allowed to gather. The captivation of that gathering is really met because of what happened that night, because of that song, and because of what that man saw. And literally the balance of America at that one pivotal point out there in that bay, and at the Inner Harbor in Baltimore, the balance of America hung by a thread one night, one battle. And what I love to talk about is gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. So when the rockets' red glare and the bombs were bursting in air, when those flashes went off through the gunpowder and the smoke, and there was actually a storm that night, you would have glimpses of the flag still waving. So gave proof through the night by those rockets and by those bombs bursting in air, with those flashes of, oh my gosh, the flag is still there. And then of course it ends with that question, oh, say, does that Star Spangled Banner yet wave? As dawn's early light comes up, does the flag still wave? And that's what was being asked by the prisoners of war who were on that ship being held captive. Is the flag still there? Key, is the flag still waving? And of course the answer is yes. And America continued from that point on.
Have you heard I want to say it's called the national anthem as you've never heard it before. I think's what it's called. Actually, I can look it up.
I think think it's all four stanzas or all four verses.
No. It's the story behind it.
Oh, okay.
Let me bring up my screen real quick.
I think I have an interesting story. I got sort of firsthand. I dug in really, really hard. I went to the National Anthem Museum. I actually saw the actual piece of paper, the document that Francis Scott Key scribbled. There's 4 actual handwritten documents that Francis had. This was the best one that was on display. And the caretaker of the National Anthem Museum, of the Star Spangled Banner Museum, is like, what do you think? I was like, wow, it's just, I can't believe that's it. That's the song. Right. He's like, well, that's not really the song. And he takes a key and he turns it, and the real one comes out from underneath the case and comes on top, almost like national treasure kind of stuff. And I'm like,
oh, wow. Nice.
he's like, now look at that one closely, and you can see the fibers in the paper, and you can see the pen and the ink where he scribbled things out, that it's lifted the paper. It's an unbelievable document. It's an unbelievable piece of American history. But I dug in pretty deep about that night and what was happening, and it's an unbelievable story. It's just an amazing, small but amazing part of American history.
Yeah, it just gives me chills when you talk about it.
I found the YouTube video. If you want to watch it later on, it's It's entitled Star Spangled Banner as You've Never Heard It.
Yep.
I play that also on my Veterans Day show.
Yep.
But
yep.
Check it out.
It's 11 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's not an interview. It's a like a documentary audio.
Yeah. Well, much like the George Washington crossing the Delaware, where the fog rolled in and gave them cover. Very similarly, there was a storm that happened the night of the battle at Fort McHenry, and the reason that they actually had to go to the rockets was because they could not they couldn't anchor firmly enough. Their ships were being pushed and rocked that their cannon was basically useless. So that's why they went to the timed fuse rockets. So even like those small little details that the hand of God was like, nah, I'm gonna pitch this bay as high as I can against the Navy and give my boys here an upper hand. It's there's so much to American history. There's so many little things. And I can actually, I'd love to talk about a little bit about what my family's history was during, that time. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You're free to talk about anything you want to talk about. I know we only have 30 minutes with you, so whatever you want to talk about, we're happy to listen. And then I know you've got a big event coming up in Denver too on August the 9th.
Yeah.
And so you can talk about that too. Whatever you want to talk about, we're here to listen. So.
Well, absolutely. August the 9th, we got the Warrior Bonfire going down. People want to find out more. It's go to look up Warrior Bonfire online, Warrior Bonfire Program. .org, I believe, is the website, but don't quote me on that. Maybe look that up and tag it. But Warrior Bonfire, amazing organization. I've been working with them for quite some time. They do a very special flag retirement ceremony around the fire. And of course, that flag is being burned in the fire and retired properly. But I've been to a few of their events, just very special, very, very moving, to see something that we all love, be put to flames, but it is also it's almost uplifting to see that go up into the sky. But my music on a mission, again, a part of it comes from this interest in American history. Part of it comes from raising two kids in the freest country on the planet Earth and realizing that a lot of what our teachers are teaching really has nothing to do with what they really need to know. And that's what the continuation of service was about. That's what the music on a mission is about. It's trying to reinstill some faith back where the faith belongs in our hearts. Try to reinstill some patriotism and respect for our flag and for our freedoms and the price that's been paid for them all. And that's what my music, and that's where my music comes from. And that's, it's a huge part of why I continued into music, was because of this, yearning in my heart, this burning to continue on in one of the hardest businesses in the world. I don't complain that I chose it, but it's a barren wasteland, and it's a desert of lost souls out there. And it's tough business, but I believe that I was kind of chosen to do this, and it's not about whether or not my successes are how many Instagram followers or likes I get. It's about whether or not I finish this mission and keep my head up high.
Yeah, I love that you're doing that. I love the merchandise you're selling too. I think it really plays into that whole mission set of patriotism and instilling that value for the flag and for our country again. And I think it's so, so needed in this time. We're trying to be divided by so many different factions of politics, for or against. Could be Democrat, could be Republican, could be independent, could be anything. We're all trying to be spread apart, and they're trying. I don't know who they are, but there's a push for us not to be united. And so I think your music and your mission helps to unite us as a country and as a group of people that can get along. I think we can get along. I think we can do that.
And I think you're right. And I think you won't see a bunch of, it just feels like, and now with AI, it's even worse because people can produce a song about whatever literally is happening in the news every day.
Yes.
So it's like,
Heck, just video stories. You can't tell anymore what's AI and what's real.
Yeah. Which I believe is going to, in the long run, I think it's going to perverse social media to a tipping point where people are just like, well, what's the point? Because none of it's real. It's almost like watching, I don't know, like watching a soap opera or watching a show that just seems to have like watching Oak Island. Okay. 13 episodes of digging around and checking holes. It's just like at some point in time, you just got to be like, I'm not going to waste my time with this. And I think people are going to start valuing time again. I believe that's going to happen in our future. I believe people are going to start putting the screens down. I think AI is actually going to be inevitably is what's going to do that. It's going to poison the well. And I think somewhere inevitably, I think faith is going to intercede where AI leaves off and fails.
I love that. I hope so. I hope you're right.
That's good. I hope right. Yep.
Yeah, I hope that's the way it is, because, I think it's going to mess up history too, because I think, they're going to use AI to do different things, and people are going to believe that that's what really happened, when in fact it's just generated by a computer, and it's, it's not factual. And that's what I worry, is they'll find some kind of piece on the internet at some point in time, and then it goes to show something that never was, because how they have the animals attacking something. Well, it's all AI generated. It didn't really happen, but it makes a good visual at the moment. And so I'm afraid that's, kind of what's going to be left out there, is some of these things. And then people are going to think history is one way instead of another.
Yeah.
I worry about that.
Yeah. And I think you hit on a great point there. It used to say that history was written by the victors, and now history is literally being created visually, orally, and just like you said, through AI. AI can create a history or a narrative in a country that doesn't exist to get people protesting for something that never happened, that creates its own uprising for something that didn't exist or never happened. And that truly is the gullibility of sort of mankind, and that I think is going to be the tipping point, and where AI will lose, is because at some point in time, I mean, listen, if I took a cell phone right now over to, a second or third world country, to somebody that's only ever had a flip phone or a Cricket, and said, look what Donald Trump said today, and it's some AI video of him saying we're going to bomb the world and we're going to take over, we're America. They are going to believe that. They're going to believe, because it came out of this magic box kind of thing, right? So, and there's a lot of human beings that have not yet been exposed to this level of technology that are very easily persuaded. And you look at the numbers in China. You look at some of these numbers. I think we got the numbers wrong on the actual human population on this planet. I think we're off by probably a few billion. Even in this country, I don't think that we're under 1 billion. I think that's got to be a naive thought, to be thinking we're at like 300 million. Some people, there's no way. We're way beyond that. And I think they know it. The same people that are trying to split us apart, they know it. And they want to control the numbers so that they can have control of the chessboard. And the future for my kids and my my grandkids that I don't have yet, but is going to be absolutely amazing. And I think there will be I think you're going to see an analog revivalist mentality, that people go back to personal farming and self-care and self-healing instead of going to big pharma. They're going to start eating better foods. I believe that is going to grow. I believe that world is going to grow exponentially, and I believe the tech rot is going to shrink over time. So that's my hope and my prayer. And I just, like I said, I hope faith falls in the middle and really explodes in between those things and those two worlds. But getting back to, I wanted to tell you this story. Getting back to my namesake. I don't know if it's direct descendants, but the Bray name was really, really interesting. If you go back in through my family, it's either Bray or Jones. General George Washington, before they crossed the Delaware, he had known I guess my great-great-grandpappy, we'll just call it that, had influence over that area of the river, knew everyone with a vessel or a boat, and also knew which boats were being used by the redcoats to transfer goods back and forth. And so he said to my great-grandfather, Captain William Jones Bray, or whatever his name was, he said to him, listen, we're going to need more boats to get more weapons, more food, more armory, and the rest of our military across on this night. And so we need you to find these vessels. We need you to find these boats, so we're not all stuck out in the middle of the river all at one time going back and forth with a few boats. We're going to need a ton of boats, and we're going to need you to commandeer them and do whatever it takes to get them. So I'm not saying that my great-great-great-great-grandpappy was part of the first Navy SEAL team, but if you were going to do that today, If you were going to say, hey, we have to do a tactical crossing of a river and we need 25 boats, you would send a SEAL team to go commandeer those boats. And you want to talk about T-shirts? I didn't make a Let's Go Brandon T-shirt, but I was actually thinking of Bray's boat, SEAL Team 0,
Love that.
slicing throats and stealing boats. So.
I love that. That's a great story, but I think you're right. I think it would have been the first SEAL team. So
he went back to his boys at the bar and was like, "You're pretty crafty with a knife, kind of quiet. You don't mind the water. Jump out of the water, slice a guy's neck, grab him. You quiet about it. You think you can handle that? Yeah, I got you. A couple more tankards of ale, and I'm in. So not much has changed in my bloodline. So if you can figure all that out."
I love that. That's a great story.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so it could be. It could be that was the beginnings. You never know.
Slicing throats and stealing boats. Yeah. Make the red coats just that little bit redder. That was.
I like that.
Oh my goodness. So how long have you been singing actually? Because I was going to ask you that. I know we've been talking about the national anthem and the way you put together some songs and whatnot, but how long have you been singing? I know you said it was kind of a way for you to kind of get out some anger and aggression or just kind of deal with emotions, basically, is what it sounds like. So did you start singing in high school, or was it after you got out of the military, or was it while you were in the military?
Yeah. So started out in the church choir, junior church choir. And then there was this sort of a major life event that happened to me. I lost a good friend at a young age, about the age of 10, and stopped singing in the church choir. And I was hanging out with the preacher's kid, and he was in the back of the church, and he had a set of headphones on, and he put the headphones on me. And on that day he had the single for Metallica's "One," and I'm sitting in church, and I see the preacher up there doing the deal. And I'm in church, I'm all the way in the back, and I'm looking at the people, congregation, and I'm listening to Metallica's "One." And I don't know why the two went so hand in hand, but I was captivated by this sort of video that I was seeing at the same time I was listening the first time ever hearing Metallica. And I was hypnotized by it. I said, that's me. I need to be able to make other people feel the way I feel, because I was in a dark place, lost my best friend.
Yeah.
And this music was in my heart and just exploding, and being as angry as I wanted to feel and I wanted to be was coming through my ears. And I was like, finally, this makes me feel like that is a way I can get rid of this anger. And so the music that I started listening to was that. It was the heavier stuff. It was the heavier rock, the Metallica stuff, the Megadeth stuff, and that kind of thing. And I just, like I said, I got into it, and then I would be driving around a car later, and I had a crappy 1978 Volkswagen Rabbit, and I've just cranked up. I cried like 25 speakers rolling around in that thing. It just cranked it up as loud as I could, and jammed that kind of music. And it was that space for me. Behind the wheel of that car was my first stage. And I got an idea of what my voice could and couldn't do in that metal range, and started my first band about the time I was maybe 14 or 15, wow. Maybe, singing with my first group. And we were just a rock band doing some covers and writing some originals. And those guys would send me tapes while I was in the military, and I started writing in the military. And about 3 days after I got out of the military, I was on a stage.
Wow, that's quick.
Wow.
You just traded one uniform for another.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. So nowadays, your music is has a patriotic, maybe faith-based tone than what you've done in the past.
Yeah. So what I realized from healing is just like there's seven. I can't remember what it is. Like 7 phases of denial or something like that. What are the 7 phases of grief? Right. So it's like denial, anger, all those things. Yeah. I realized that in music, you could captivate those things as well. But there was something to be said for slowing things down and being really patient and deliberate with the words that I chose and the melodies that I chose. That I also found that same healing when I was hurting as an adult. Instead of being the temper tantrum, 15, 16-year-old young man, teenager, early 20s, screaming at the top of my lungs, being angry, thinking that was the way to help others feel the way I felt. I realized also that there are people suffering in silence, people hurting in quiet. And the way to get to those people isn't really through screaming at the top of your lungs. The way to get to those people is really getting down on that level and into that dark place with them. And then writing from that place. And so again, the voyage of being a creator or being a musician, I feel, is really a voyage of how far are you willing to allow reality to fade away, and how deep are you willing to go into a place that maybe someone else has felt, whether it be someone who's lost a son or a daughter in war, or somebody has lost a parent, or a law enforcement officer in your family who is just there one day and gone the next.
Right.
To experience those things and to write from those places. Again, this is why I feel like, in a sense, that God has sort of placed me in that place to be sort of a metaphysical chameleon, to be able to say, okay, I want you to write I want you to write how that young woman feels, or that young man feels after losing his son. And again, this comes back to me losing my friend at 10 years old, because I didn't know how to deal. I didn't know how to cope. And so music allowed me to learn how to do that. Certain songs still to this day, I will listen to, and it will take me back to that same day. And it just, it'll rip you apart. And I there's something about that was healing, to get ripped apart and to be like, you know what, I'm a spiritual creature. And every once in a while, my spirit really does need a cleansing, and I need to feel that. And that's what I hope people will find in my music, along with obviously the other portions of those 7 phases, denial and everything else. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really honest, because really you have to be true to yourself. You have to allow yourself those emotions. You have to open up yourself to understanding that I'm grieving, or I'm hurting, or I'm upset, or I'm angry, or whatever the emotion is. You have to open yourself to that, to know that's the place you're in, so that you can heal, because you can't heal unless you understand that. Unless you understand you're in that spot, you're in that space where you're hurting, you're grieving, or whatever, you're lonely, or whatever the case may be, or maybe you're contemplating, taking your life because you feel like it's not worth living. You have to be able to understand that. And then these songs that you write, and others that have put music out that really resonates with those types of emotions, that's what really then helps somebody heal, I think. So I think you're doing a good thing. I think you're helping people heal, because the songs you're writing are getting that awareness to those people that need it the most.
Yeah. And that's the hope. Yeah. So just like you said, or at least when I feel as though I'm at my wit's end, and I don't know what to do or where to take myself, and prayer isn't working, and solitude isn't working, and meditation isn't working, and fasting isn't working, and exercise isn't working. You have to really dig deep and find out where this emotion is coming from. And this is where I feel like the devil wins a lot of battles in this place, because there's many who try to figure out where these certain emotions are coming from, or like you said, you feel like maybe you don't want to be here anymore. And there's a lot of people that try to ask the wrong questions without faith in their heart. And if there's one thing that I can warn against, there's 2 things actually. Number one is, I'm a believer that a sober hand rarely pulls that trigger. And so, like, those men and women that battle their demons and then decide to open up a door that they've maybe never opened before, and they're under the influence, that's where the devil wins that battle. And this is where in
my opinion, they call alcohol spirits for a reason.
Yep, that's true. Yep, there's truth to that. Absolutely. Yep, and that's why sometimes cleansing yourself and getting to the root of the problem is so vital, so essential, because you don't know what is putting you in that place. And it can be very dangerous to go there under the influence and start asking those questions. So I warn against that. And a lot of the things that, a lot of times I get the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. You make poor decisions that can have a lasting impact when you're under the influence of something, whatever that is. If that's drugs, or if that's alcohol, or maybe that's influence of somebody that's not got your best interests at heart, and you're being influenced by what they're saying to you and about the message they're bringing to you. You don't make good decisions sometimes when you've got those influences around you. So I 100% agree. So if you're at one of those crossroads where you're trying to make a good decision about what's next, make sure you're making it with a clean heart and a clean mind, and not allowing some of those influences in to direct your feet in the wrong path or the wrong way.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, the most simplest way to put that is you will have people that will line up and go get a divorce. They'll give up on their families before giving up on a drug or giving up on alcohol and realizing that that's the problem. They'll stay that rooted in something that's easier to do than not to do, than really actually addressing the problem and at least taking that out of the equation to figure out if that's seriously what the issue is. Is the problem my marriage, or is the problem my drinking? Is the problem my marriage and or my relationship with my kids, or or my job, or is the problem the drugs and the alcohol? Like there are people that will be like, well, it can't be the drugs and the alcohol. It's got to be my wife. And that is the most ridiculous thought to have. But we think those things are real because, like you said, you're opening up doors and yourself, the tape that's running inside of your mind is telling you when you're under the influence, whether it's, directly or 2 days, 3 days after, whatever. You're saying to yourself, my God, man, my wife has just been harping on me, and you know what? I'm going to go get drunk and I'm going to go file them divorce papers. It's like, wow, what, not even close. The sanctity of marriage and raising children is such an honor beyond an honor, to even be blessed to have children in your house and be able to be given that responsibility by God to raise them and have a wife to do it with. That's one of those things you cannot put a price on. And that's one of the reasons, again, that, I stepped out of the workforce. I didn't want to go to work every day because I didn't want to miss my time with my kids.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's one thing, when I was in the military, I did, 5 years sea duty. And then at my first sea duty, and then I did 3 years on another ship. So did a total of 8 years sea duty. So I was gone a lot. And actually, if you look on my DD-214, it says 10 years sea duty. 2 of those years I was stationed in Guam for 2 years. And my wife and my daughter only came over for 9 months of that time. So again, I missed out on a lot. So
you don't get it
back.
No,
that's true. To have, I 33 and a half years of marriage now. So I must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hey, what are your thoughts now looking back on the years that you missed? What is that? How does that? That's got to be, you have to carry that in some way, shape, or form, or have you just moved on from that, forgiven yourself, and just been like, that was a part of my life. I can't go back and fix it, so I'm going to spend as much time as I can now.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff now with the kids. We're getting ready next week. We're going on vacation, and granted, my oldest is 28, she'll be 29 this month. My youngest is 21, she'll be 22 this month. And we're still doing a family vacation, going down to Florida, and just gonna enjoy the trip.
I love that. Yeah, it's important, definitely.
Yeah, just making up for some lost time. It's really cool when your older children want to actually hang out with you. It's like you must be okay in their book if they're wanting to hang out with you after they're adults. Because they got free will and free choice at that point.
Yeah. My buddy just had his first couple grandkids, and he's like, man, grandkids are the reward for not killing your own children.
Right.
I said, wow. Tell me how you really feel. He's like, man, I'll tell you what, those late teens, early 20s were rough, but the grandkids, jackpot, jackpot.
Right. Yeah, because you get to do the fun stuff with them and then send them home and let the parents deal with them after that.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's awesome. It's so awesome to have you here. You're so personable, and you've got so much really historical information on the flag and on the national anthem and stuff that I've never heard, or I don't know about. I mean, I've never done that deep dive into that. So I really appreciate you bringing that perspective to your song that you wrote. You didn't write it, but I mean, the way you rewrote it with your own guitar and different elements into the song. So I really appreciate you bringing that perspective, and it really probably opens it to a new audience to really engage with it. Do you want to play it real quick before you have to jump off? Because I know you have to jump off pretty quick.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, if you guys want to play it, feel free to play it. I mean, maybe after I step out and maybe you can close the show. I don't know how much time we have, but we can go back to that.
Well, actually, we have an hour, so we have about 10 minutes or 11 minutes left of the show. So we can just play at least one song, and then we can finish talking if that's all right. If you can hang out a little bit longer.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, perfect. All right, so we're going to play the Star Spangled Banner. Here we go.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Gun the rocket trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the frame? You're the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the USMC. For those unaware, that flag is still there. In some future to say, stand of the brave, the USMC. Oh, say, does that star spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the frame? In the home of the
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Welcome back to MBR and Trace Around Podcast.
Love that version.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. And I have DJ Clatto in here, and I have Dave Bray with us, who you just heard play the Star Spangled Banner. That is an amazing version. I really like it. And I think one of our hosts is in the comments, and she said all of our DJs need to be playing that song in our studios. So everybody's on board with it. They love it.
I agree. Well, thank you again. I appreciate that. And it's, I don't, it's been a while since I've heard it, I obviously listen to it a lot, but, it's just, I guess when it comes on, it's hard for me to connect, back to those times. And that, it was a different era for me.
Yeah.
But it's just a classic. It's just a great tune. And, she rocks, man. I love listening to that song.
It really does, and it really grabs you. I mean, like, it just makes you feel like if you're not feeling something, something's wrong with you, because it brings out all the emotions, the chill bumps, the patriotism, all the things that come along with loving this country and loving the people that are in it.
Amen. I love that. If people want to find out more about my Music on a Mission, they go to DaveBrayUSA.com. That's Dave, BRAY, USA.com. You get to find out all the tour dates that I got coming up. I got a full band. We go out and we rock. And then I also do solo stuff. I do a ton of fundraising for law enforcement, military and veteran communities out there. Obviously I do tribute work, national anthems. But listen, I can't tell you how blessed I am to be able to do something like sing as a job or as an occupation. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's because of people that support, for people like podcasts. They listen to podcasts, they go to the store, they buy something at DaveBrayUSA.com. Those support merchandise purchases. That's what helps us keep going. I mean, I'd love to say that I'm a musician, but at the end of the day, I'm a t-shirt salesman. That's it. Yeah, I have to sell 30 downloads of a song. People don't even download music anymore. That's even archaic.
Right.
Just to make $30, or, like I said, sell a t-shirt. And it's a family business. My sons and I, we print the t-shirts. They do inventory for me.
Nice.
We do fulfillment. Yeah. So we're a family owned, operated business. We don't outsource the printing. So if it's messed up, I always blame my kids. But I'll say, if you get a bad printed shirt or something, give me a call. I'll give you a new one. We don't drop ship anything. Everything's legit, like screen printing. And we have a little print shop in our house that we do everything from.
Yeah, and
Nice.
I'm going to order me something tonight too, because
Nice.
I was scoping it all out last night trying to see what I was going to get. But I am going back tonight to purchase.
Yeah, none of this iron-on stuff that like feels like plastic. It's a screen printed shirt.
I do the same. I have a printer. I got $8,000 printer and a $1,500 heat press. So I do merchandise as well.
Yeah.
So I know where you're coming from. It's a lot more rewarding when it's home based instead of outsourced.
Yeah. What kind of press do you have? An M&R or
Stalls?
Okay.
Heatronics or Hotronics, I think it is.
What's your silk screen?
I had for silkscreen. I had it was screen printing. The printer that I use is Digital Heat FX Okidata 8432.
Okay.
So
I'm way old school. I'm like the old timey. It's got six. I got six up, 4 down, man. I can do 6 colors. That's it. 4 down.
I could do full thing, photographs. I've done photographs on shirts.
Oh, that's wild, man.
And it's I hate to use the term when I say heat press, because everybody thinks, oh, iron on. It's much more than iron on, because when you use the heat press, at 320 degrees, it's fusing the ink into the shirt. So it's not like a typical iron on that, comes off after 2 or 3 washes.
That's wild, man.
But
very cool.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes left. So is there anything you wanted to tell us, anything we didn't ask you, or anything you'd just like to put out that you didn't get a chance to say before when we were talking?
Yeah. Like I said, please just go check out my tour dates. I'm going to be in Clearwater, Florida. I'm also going to be down there in Tampa area, or I'm sorry, Orlando area in Florida again at the end of August. Let's see. I'm going to be out in Colorado on August 9th. So again, I'm all over the country. I love the fish. I love the hunt. Say again.
Where's Clearwater at?
Clearwater, Florida is over by Tampa.
Is it?
Yeah. So Orange County Choppers is I don't know if you remember the Tuttle family.
Yes.
They have a Orange County Choppers Museum. All the bikes are down there now in Clearwater, Florida.
Oh,
And they got a restaurant and a huge entertainment area. So I'm going to be performing there.
Nice.
Supporting our heroes, and it's through Lifetime or Lifestyle Mag, the Mag Lifestyle. And like I said, just please go to Dave Bray USA, check out the tour dates, come out and see me. Again, I'll be back out in Colorado after the Warrior Bonfire. I'll be back out there for the Marine Corps birthday and things like that. So we'll also be in Philadelphia, but too much to mention. Go to DaveBrayUSA.com.
Right around the corner from where I live.
Yeah.
I live in Jersey, right across the bridge.
Yeah. So we'll be down for the Ton Tower Foundation for the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps. So come on down and get crazy with the Marines, because we're going to get wild.
What date is that?
That'll be the 10th of November.
Oh yeah.
Great.
And that's a full band show. Yeah, that's gonna be a rocking show. I love doing full band work. It's where my heart really, really lies. It's where I get to be a kid again up on stage and sort of just let go. It is literally my safe space. It's where I feel the most at home. And it's why I do, and why I started doing what I do, was to entertain people, to engage people, to heal people, and to allow my music just to get out there loud and proud the way I think all music should be heard.
I agree 100%. DJ Clatto and I agree. Music saves the soul and soothes the soul and is universal language. So absolutely agree with you.
Well, thanks again for having me on. DaveBrayUSA.com. Please go check out the support merchandise. I tell you what, anybody who purchased anything after this podcast, if you mention this podcast, just today only, if you purchase today only, you're going to get a free autograph CD. I'll send this free autograph CD out with every order. So yeah, do that today.
Nice.
Yeah, just for you guys.
Nice.
You're listening.
So it's Trace Arounds and go to DaveBray.com.
Yeah. DaveBrayUSA.com.
DaveBrayUSA.com.
Could I ask one favor?
Sure.
Could I get you to, it doesn't have to be right now, but because I don't have a way to record, just have you record, say your name, and that you're listening to DJ Clatto on Military Broadcast Radio, because I'd play that every night before I play the Star Spangled Banner.
Hey, this is Dave Bray USA. You're listening to DJ Clatto on Military Broadcast Radio.
That works.
Does that work?
Way to record that, Terry.
I think we can cut that out and give it to you. Yes, absolutely.
Tell you what, send me an email. I'll send you a high res version, and that way we got a couple different ones, because you might need
All right.
You might need some different inflection on there.
All right. I will
thank you so much.
send you an email.
Hey, listen, I got to give a shout out. A lot of people don't know this. I just posted about this. I do the voiceover for a television show on Real America's Voice News called Law and Border with Ben Berkwam. And Ben goes all the way down to, South America. He's up and down the border. He's pointing out all the weakness, all the weak links, and then how the NGOs are supporting them, people on our side. It's an amazing show, Law and Border on Real America's Voice News, or you can watch it on Rumble, or I think, what's the other one? Getter, something like that. So yeah, just check it out. Law and Border with Ben Berkwam. And you got to listen to my VOs, because they give me a script, but I go off script a lot, and it's kind of funny.
We'll have to check it out. Now I'm really curious.
Yeah, I am too.
Check it out, everyone.
You're watching Law and Border with Ben Berkwam.
I love it. That's awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is Trace Arounds signing off. Thanks, Dave.
You got it. God bless.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.